I've had my Pixel 7 Pro for a little while now, and I've had time to think about what some of my favorite accessories have been for this device. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Whether it is a Pixel 7 Standard or a Pixel 7 Pro, these are my favorite accessories for those devices. If it's one that is specific to the 7 Pro or the 7, I will also have a link below for the other variant. I think this only literally applies to the one case I'm going to be talking about. It's the only case I've been able to really firsthand test, and that I would also recommend to you. So like I said, the rest of these will be kind of universal between the 7 and the 7 Pro, and also really other smartphones potentially as well. So before I go any further, let's jump into my favorite accessories for the Google Pixel 7. So the first one here is the Google Pixel Stand. Now this thing is actually very, very cool. It's not just a wireless charger. When you drop your Pixel onto this thing, it basically turns your Pixel into a Google Home hub. And what that means is it's going to sit here and show you pictures from your Google Photos account. It's going to scroll through these, but you can also use it as that home hub using the Google Hot Word to have it wake up and then do different tasks for you, just like you would with one of those home hubs, one of those speakers, and maybe the ones with the screens. Basically, just a really cool idea. I've got one of these home hubs next to my bed, or I should say on my bedside table. Well, with this, I wouldn't really need to do this. I could just have this thing sitting there, drop my Pixel onto it, and let it act as effectively the exact same thing. There's actually a little bit of customization that you can do with the Pixel Stand as well. You can see there that it's charging the phone. You can go in here and screen off when dark, enable do not disturb while docked. You can change the settings of your photo frame. Sunrise alarm is really cool. So as basically as instead of your alarm going off, it's going to get slowly brighter and brighter to help wake you up. And there's also charging modes, optimize max and quiet, because there's actually a fan in this wireless charger to keep things from overheating. Overall, it's just a really solid wireless charger for the Pixel. And if we look at it here on Amazon, which is where these links are primarily going to be, they might all be on Amazon actually, now that I'm thinking about it. This thing is $78, so it's not really cheap. But with the added functionality that you get with your Pixel device and the customization you have there, I think that it does make a decent amount of sense. And it will, I believe it will actually charge other devices as well. Yeah, you might be able to see that it is actually charging a set of earbuds for me as well. So that is pretty cool. Really, really like the Pixel Stand. I'm one of those people that now really just can't exist without a smartwatch on. Mine is actually charging right now, so I'm lying because here I am existing without my smartwatch on. But for the Pixel 7, I think that there are a few of really good options. The most obvious one is the Pixel Watch. I have a full review of the Pixel Watch on my channel. My wife is actually using my Pixel Watch now with her Pixel 6a and is enjoying it, I think, a little bit more than I was. It's a really solid watch, and I'm definitely going to call it out just because of the synergy there, Pixel and Pixel. $344 on Amazon, 1-day battery. It's not the best watch I've ever used, but there is a ton of personality and promise in this device. I'm definitely going to call it out anyways, even though I don't think it's necessarily the best watch for the money. One that I daily drive most of the time is the Mobvoi TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra, $299, and sometimes it's actually on sale for cheaper than that. That is the watch that I generally use and wear. And it is a watch that I can routinely get 3 or 4 days worth of battery life with. And one of the biggest reasons why that is true, and one of the biggest reasons why I really, really like this watch, is because that while you also, of course, have a normal watch face, you have this dual screen thing going on where there is an LCD display that, it's like an old Game Boy display where actually the brighter the environment is, the easier it is to read. And so you don't have to have necessarily a lift to wake. You don't have to wake the thing up to see what time it is, to see some basic information. You can just utilize this screen and see your steps, see your heart rate, the time, the date. And that is just a really, really cool feature to have. I lied, I don't think your heart rate's actually on that thing. But at any rate, it's a really, really good watch. And we're looking at something here that's $299, so it's actually cheaper than what you're getting out of the Pixel Watch. And I think overall, it's just a better watch to me. Sticking with Mobvoi though, the TicWatch E3 is $199, and I've actually got that one here as well. And we can do a quick comparison. This is one that my wife actually daily drove for a while, and it's a really solid watch. The screen is a bit smaller. That bezel is relatively large. She actually broke one of the buttons on it there. Somehow managed to knock that off, but she used it for a good long while and seemed to really like it as well. It's a really solid watch, and it has a lot of the same features as the Pro 3 Ultra, with the exception to that extra screen. That LCD screen is not there, but it's a really rock solid, I think it's a decent looking watch as well. And $199 is a pretty far cry away from where we started off here at $344 for the Pixel Watch. So just kind of trying to give you some different options there, some watches I have personally used and that I do really like. Of course, if you've spent the money to buy a very large, very slippery phone like the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, you probably would like to put a case on it. I actually reviewed the case 2D Merge just a little while back, and in terms of just a basic, inexpensive case that's going to protect your device, you can do a whole lot worse than $16.99 for that case. They come in several different colors, which you can see down here, and I think it just looks fine, and it's going to protect your device. It's going to keep it safe from drops and so forth. This is one that there is a 7 and a 7 Pro variant, obviously, and I will have links to both of them down below. Something else I really liked it, I don't have installed currently on mine. My wife, again, I keep mentioning her, is using this. This is a little adhesive ring that actually sticks to the back of your phone or your case, whatever you want to do. And what's really cool about it is that it gives you the ability to not only kind of hold the phone that way, right? You could imagine it being like this, and it gives you a grip to hold these giant phones. She uses it as a kickstand all the time as well. And I'm going to tell you, that 3M adhesive that's on there is potent. That thing is not coming loose from there, and it seems to just do a really solid job. In particular, if you have smaller hands, it just gives you kind of like a pop socket almost, but maybe something that's a little bit lower profile, and I think looks a little bit better than a pop socket. I really like this thing. I should mention it also does not seem to interfere with wireless charging with that 2D Emerge case on, and on the Pixel stand, wireless charging engaged just fine. So that is also very, very cool. What about earbuds? There's a lot of really good options here. This is one of the only things on this list that I don't actually have here to tell you my personal experience with, but I've heard from many people that the Pixel Buds Pro are apparently very, very good. $199 for something like that. Although if you want to stay a little bit cheaper, one that I do have and that I have reviewed are the Pixel Buds A series. I absolutely love the little nubs up there that kind of hold them into your ear. The sound quality is okay. They're not the best sounding earbuds that I've ever used, but the feature set is good, the fit is good, and they just work really, really well. It's hard to go wrong with the Pixel Buds A series. Another set that I really like, though, a bit cheaper for $59, the Soundpeats Mini Pro Hybrid. They're a really basic set of earbuds, but they've got active noise cancellation. They're absolutely tiny, as you can see there. Battery life is solid. Sound quality is actually outstanding, in particular for the price. So on a more budget-minded area, I would recommend these guys here. You can have a good set of wireless earbuds. If you want my favorite current earbuds, though, that I just got and are just reviewing, it's going to be these guys, the Anker Soundcore Liberty 4s. I just got these a few days ago. I've been using them almost every day, and oh my goodness, these things are really, really good. The ANC is not the best in the world, but the sound quality is fantastic. The feature set is really good. Equalizers are all there. You actually pinch the stems instead of tapping, which I like wildly prefer over the alternative. These things are really, really good for $150. That kind of gives you a mid-ground there between the Pro and the Pixel Buds A series that you could potentially go with. Full review of several of these are on the channel as well. What about a car charger? This is one that I've actually bought. You can see August of 2021, and I've been using it almost every day since then. This is a fantastic buy for a car charger. It is going to charge as quickly as you need it to, 30 watts, which is, you know, you're dealing with the Pixel. This isn't some Oppo phone that charges 120 watts. This is going to charge you at full speed, and it's $10.99. This thing is fantastic. Like I said, I've used it almost every day for like a year, and it's been rock solid for me. In terms of mounting this device in your car, this is not the exact one that I use, but it is one that my wife has been using since early October, and it's really, really good. It goes into your CD tray, and you turn that thing, and it locks it in place, and it holds the phone in place like that. I've used a lot of these like CD tray mounting ones, and they always get loose over time and flop around. The one that I do use is a bit different in the way that it holds onto your phone, because I have a Duo and a Z Fold, and that's typically what I daily drive. This mechanism does not get loose. I've been using mine, the other one with the different grip, for I think a couple of years now, and it has not budged at all. So this is one that I can absolutely vouch for. It is really good. $13.99. My wife has really been liking this version of it as well. Really, really solid. What about in terms of just regular charging? I really like the Ugreen Ace Cube. It is really, really small, kind of adorable. It is just a single USB-C. It's a, PD power delivery. You can see here 30 watts. And the reason it is so small is because it is a GAN charger, which makes it just a really nice premium charger that fits in a really tiny form factor. Does a great job. I have been charging my phones with this specific charger for several months now since Ugreen sent this thing out to me. But they do have another charger that I will point out in case you want a dual charger. This is a really similar product, but it has 2 ports and it charges at 45 watts. I can't show you this one because it is currently charging my phone and my Duo dock here, and my overhead camera are both plugged into this. It's fantastic. I've also been using it for about the same amount of time. It's a little bit bigger than this, but it is a really, really good, another GAN charger, solid. In terms of a wireless charger, I know I already kind of called this out a bit with the Pixel stand, but if you want something a little bit cheaper that's not going to have all the same functionality, $47.99 for this Spigen one, 15 watts is pretty good. There's another one though that I have next to my couch that I'm using for a long time. It is not nearly as fast. It is 10 watts, this UTech wireless charger. It's really, really basic, but look, it's $19, okay? It's cheap, and it actually, believe it or not, it is USB-C. I don't know if my camera's going to be able to focus on that, but it is USB-C as well. Basic thing, and you think, oh, what's this brand? Who knows? But 11,000 reviews, and I will tell you myself that I've had it since March of 2021, and it's been used a lot, and it's been really, really good. Sticking with charging, something that I absolutely adore having is this USB-C cable. I love this thing. It's C to C. It's up to 100 watts, but there is a screen on it that tells you what your charging rate is. So you know how fast your device is charging at all times. 1650 for this thing. At this point, I think I have like 4 or 5 of these things, and I just love them. They're really, really good. Solid cables, and I love having that screen. This is one I probably should have talked about in another part of this video, but here we are. This is a thing called a sleek strip, and I can't actually show you this because it's on my overhead camera right now, my Z Fold 4 pointed down, but it's really, really simple. This is what it looks like. It sits really low profile. You kind of push right there at the end, and it slides up and gives you a nice little grip to hold on to. So it's similar to what we have here, although you can't necessarily, you can kind of use it as a kickstand there if you put it all the way on the edge, but it doesn't stick out really far to be like a super stable kickstand. But as a grip, it is really, really good. I have this stand here that I use all the time. If I'm not using my Surface Duo in a Duo dock, rest assured I am using this stand. It is $10.50. It folds up like this to be relatively low profile. You can have the angle pretty much anywhere you want it to be. It's $10. It's metal. It's really good. What about gaming? There are a couple of different options here. This is my favorite controller that I have had for attaching to a phone to game with. This is the Nikon MGX. And while I'm not necessarily going to like demo an actual game on it because it just is what it is, I'll show you kind of what it looks like in person and actually on the device with a case on it. This is a very big phone, and it still does manage to get all the way onto. We have 2 joysticks, face buttons, triggers, and it's going to hold on to this phone really, really tight. And of course, this is Xbox branded. So if you're doing Xbox Game Pass streaming, that's going to work straight out of the box. USB-C charging down there at the bottom. The triggers are really good. Probably the only weak point about this thing are the size of the sticks, and you could probably say that the triggers are a little bit stiffer than maybe they ought to be, but otherwise, it is just a really good controller. It feels like you're truly using an Xbox controller, and I have definitely logged my share of time on that controller. But another option that I also have and have really enjoyed and has some advantages, I should mention, $79. It's not cheap, right? So the GameSir X2 is only $54. It is definitely a little bit cheaper, and like I said, it does probably have some advantages. Let's see what it looks like too. So as you can see, also no trouble getting over this giant phone, but probably the advantages that I see here, besides just the price, are the size of the sticks. They can move much, much further. So if you're playing a first-person shooter, that's going to be a really, really big advantage. The triggers are clicky, so they're not linear. So on the Nikon ones, they actuate in a different way, so that games can actually tell how far you're pushing the trigger, whereas with this one, it's either clicked or it's not. So it's basically almost like digital versus analog, right? So there's a little bit going on there. But like I said, the sticks are a lot bigger. There's a lot more travel there, so you can kind of take your pick between those two, which ones you think would be a better fit for you. I have also reviewed these on my channel as well. But I think that kind of takes us to the end of my list of accessories. These are my favorite things to use with my Pixel 7, or of course Pixel 7 Pro as well. Hopefully some of these things are interesting to you and there's something here that you are thankful to have found and will help you out in your life using your Pixel 7. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Links to all these will be in the description down below. I'll see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.